Okay, praise God. Okay, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever it is you are joining us from. This is Livinghealth TV Live, and I am Dr. Benga Adebayo. This is your very first time of joining us on this show. We take a look at the important health issues and we discuss giving you insight on how you can navigate these thorny issues. This is Livinghealth TV. We have so much that you can learn on our channels through various content that we have taken time, love, and a lot of care to prepare. So if you're joining for the very first time, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you've not already done so. Remembering to drop a like and comment along the way as you watch the various things that we have put together. I would also like to please drop a comment. Let us know where you are joining us from. And as we go along, if you have any question, please feel free, go right ahead and ask any question. Today we are taking a look at intimate partner violence, intimate partner abuse. Now, this is something that a lot of people may not want to talk about. People may want to maybe just wonder, oh, let's keep what happens behind closed doors. Let's keep it behind closed doors. But this is also a public health issue. It is also a matter of health, of grave concern. The home should be a place of safety. Nobody wants to get married or live with someone, and then where you are meant to have a place of safety, you are now having a a war zone, so to speak. And if you start to ask ourselves, how common is intimate partner violence? It is very common. Thank you, Ayobami. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Now, how do we put it into statistics? If we want to find what are the numbers that we are being bandied about shows that as high as 65%, right? 65% of women now, so we're talking about women now, are subject to one form of abuse or the other in their homes. And when we say intimate partner violence, yes, while the greater proportion of victims are female, intimate partner violence also affects males. Males can also be victims. Okay, yes, that is not as common as when females are the receiving end, but it happens. It happens. And when there's domestic violence, it will now expand the umbrella to include not just intimate partner violence now, just use the term domestic violence. Then we now have children also being victims. And in fact, when you have intimate violence, if there are children, if there are kids in such relationships, those kids are also affected. It affects their well-being, their mental health, even their physical health can be affected. So this is a germane issue. In fact, some people they as high as 1 in 4. So the statistics that are there in Nigeria, and I'm talking about Nigeria, and go globally, it's there. Globally speaking, you know you are more likely to be killed by someone you know and someone you don't know than by a total stranger. The chances, the probability that someone that harms you is someone you know. I read, in recent time, there was a story in the UK of a 3 times married woman, stabbing to death her husband. What happened? She stabbed him the first time, and the guy said, "You can't. You stabbed me. You don't mean it. You can't do it again." And then she stabbed him 2 more times, and then she called the police, and then she was saying to the police, "I hope he's dead." And the man was not dead. He said, I hope I did a good job." And so that's an instance of where a man was the victim. Um, and then there were different circumstances came up about our previous marriages and all that. So when we talk about intimate partner violence, yes, most often than not, women are the receiving end, but men also can be at the receiving end, and this is very common. It's a very, very common phenomenon. So the question is, what should we do? What can we do uh, to prevent this? So before I even start to talk about that, I think it's important for us to talk about the types of abuse, because some people may not lay hands on you. They may not. They may not be physically violent towards you, but there can be abuse. There can be all types of violence, different types of violence in the home. And the Center for Disease Control, CDC, said, okay, there are four types. That there are four types of domestic or partner intimate violence. And of course, the first one is what we talk about. That's physical violence. Violence, where your spouse, your partner is physically aggressive towards you, ranging from shaking to beatings, slappings, using other tools to inflict physical pain and harm, and that often can lead to death. In a fit of rage, in a fit of anger, it just attacks the partner, and then there is death. So we just celebrated last week the World Day against violence against women. Violence against women. That's one of the reasons why. And then we took in our Health Express group, started to discuss it, and people said different things. So, but it's important for us to know. People say it cannot happen to me, cannot happen to me. This thing don't just start. So, from physical violence, we also have now sexual violence. Uh, some people take out their anger on their by sexually violating their partners, and it could start with little things. Even in marriage, the law allows you to say no. You can say no. No is not yes in disguise. Yes is yes, and no is no. So sexual violence occurs in homes, and then you can have stalking, especially where people have become estranged from one another, and then one partner starts to stalk the other. Your phone, where did you go today? How did you do today? It starts to look through your social media footprint. Follows you everywhere. So stalking is a form of intimate violence, and then of course we also now have psychological abuse, insults, being made, thank you, Michael, welcome, being made to feel inferior. Some people have no good word. You are walking on eggshells. You are afraid. They don't touch you. They may not beat you. And then they just stalk you and put you under pressure. So all these are forms of intimate partner abuse. Now, I like to speak to you as someone that uh, has a little bit of experience in counseling people. I've spoken to just a little bit of talking to people as a friend, as a physician, as a pastor. I'm not a licensed a psychotherapist or anything, but what I've seen, even as a minister of the gospel, as a pastor, whereas people have come to meet with all kinds of issues, people don't just change. People don't just change. Now, abuse I don't think it's possible that someone is dating someone, and then on the first day that you date, the person beats you up. What do? You run away. Most people will run away. They will. So, but what happens is that there's a creep. Abuse starts to creep. There is a grooming, so to speak, and that's what all predators do. They stalk you, they groom you, they put you in a place that you start to feel, I cannot do anything about this. I am helpless. Um, I had a friend many years ago that her husband talking abusive towards her, and she was afraid to talk out. Why? Because she felt we are friends will be disappointed. She said to me, I'm so disappointed. I feel so disappointed. I feel you'll be disappointed in me that I made a wrong choice. So that's what abusers do. They get you to a place that you feel you have no other choice but to abide with them. That if you leave them, things will get worse for you, or but they don't start that way, and that's the point I'm trying to make. It does not usually start out that way until you find yourself dead or injured or maimed. Huh? I remember a story of someone that I heard. This was told to me. Person, yeah, the guy had a temper, but he had never been violent towards her. He was always kind, playful with her, but he had that violence streak towards other people. You see him get angry with other people. She saw him do that to other people, and she didn't mind because why? He's kind and calm towards me. But 1 week before their marriage, he felt she did something. She spoke to someone. Somebody smiled at her, and she didn't. She smiled back. Why you? Yeah, boom! And then he beat her up. They were not married. He beat her up, and then she she now said, "Okay, I'm not marrying him again." And then the guy started begging, apologizing. I don't know what came over me. I'm so, so, so sorry. We have invited people to come for our marriage. People are going to marry. We had people know. We have invited you. Don't let us be put to shame. So he started begging, put our parents on her to also start begging. Our parents said, well, men are men, they can be violent sometimes. They can do this sometimes. Men are men. Men are men. At this time, everybody started putting pressure on her and begging her. It's just one time. Just once. Welcome to Nitokwe. It's just once. It's just once. How will you like this? Look at all the time you have been cutting him. He beat you just once. Okay. So she bowed to pressure and he got married. That was the beginning of our problems. Yeah, there are times, seasons where he beat her so badly that it damaged her body, right? She had to run ultimately for her life. So the signs are there. Yeah, even people that are cutting, Peter Fresh, thank you for that. Even people that are cutting, they are cutting themselves. And they say it's a sign of love. Even amongst people that have the religious bent, various religious bent, that it just means I love you, that I'm disciplining you. Please, love does not, and it's against the law. Let's first be clear. Assault is against the law of the land. Assault even in homes, in loving relationships, in court, relationships that should be loving. Assault is against the law of any land. I don't know of anywhere on the face of the earth where assault is not a crime. It is a crime, right? The only place where you are allowed to beat up each other is if you are in the martial arts sport. If you are in the so you're an NMA, or WWE. Sorry, I mixed. So you're a mixed martial arts artist, or you are a wrestler, or you're a boxer. Okay, somebody say wrestling is drama. Okay. I didn't know that as a child. I thought, but they still get injured. They still harm themselves. Or you're a boxing, you're a boxer. So while you are in the ring, you are allowed to, you can't even beat the person to death unintentionally, but it's a sport. People that go into that sport realize that that's a risk that they face. But in the home, on the street, wherever you are, assault is illegal. So watch out for these danger signals while you are cutting. You see somebody aggressive, somebody giving to anger, somebody beating other people, fighting other people, watch out. Watch out. If somebody is violent and abusive towards you while you are cutting, you say something to him or her in secret, and then when the person is angry with you, the person uses those things that you have said in confidence and starts to say them back to you to hurt you. That's a signal. That's a danger signal. Huh? Somebody it starts to monitor you, start to cage you. You cannot go anywhere else. Very jealous individual says to you jokingly, if you go to anybody else, I will kill you and kill myself. It means no. That may be a danger signal. Somebody is saying, if you leave me, I will kill you and kill myself. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's obsessive. There's nothing. There's no relationship warrants you killing somebody or killing yourself. Right? And when these matters of love go south, the emotions and the problems can be really deep. So, what am I saying? Watch out. Prevention. I'm a public health physician, so I always think in terms of prevention. And anything that happens to me, my brain is, how do you prevent this? One of the ways you can prevent uh, intimate partner violence is to identify abusive relationships while they are still young and to stay clear of them. Identify abusive people, identify abusive traits, and stay clear. Stay clear. That's why we court. That's why we date. I tend to think that people don't usually change. The signs are often there if you know what to look for. If you know what to look for, the signs are often there. Anybody that glorifies violence, see violence as permissive, as permitted, that person, we need to really, really check and see that that person is not going to be an abusive partner, whether male or female. When somebody takes pleasure, like I said, even in word, because we say, it's not until physical, the end of the spectrum is physical violence. Uh, when somebody, UFC, yes, and the Kamaru Usman and all those, so yeah. So when somebody starts to show those traits, vindictive, uh, watch out for those. So don't stay in abusive relationships. Don't stay in an abusive relationship hoping that the person is going to change when commitments have not, when vows have not been exchanged. Don't stay there. You have a choice. Oh, I'm old. I'm old. Is the only one that have stayed with me, or is the first person that I slept with? All kind of. Don't stay in abusive relationships. Don't. Ah, so prevention. They say an ounce of prevention is what more than a pound of cure. Okay, so you are now married to an abusive partner. So one of the things, and then the person apologizes. One of the things that you will both need to do is to go and see a counselor. Identify that this is a problem. Yeah. Uh, People that cannot control their anger can kill in a fit of rage. Yeah. An abusive environment is not the most conducive environment for kids to grow up. So you and your partner need to come to a place that you see physical violence as a no-no. It is a no-no. If you are still seeing it as normal, if you are still seeing a degree of it as okay, this degree of physical violence is okay, it's only when there is bleeding that is wrong. No, no degree, no amount of physical violence is assault is permitted in a relationship. No. So if you see that, and that is happening in your relationship, so and both of you come to a sense that I think this issue is something we want to solve, then go see someone that can help you. Go see a counselor. And in the first instance, if you as a person, you are fearful for your life, separation is, and there are so many non-governmental organizations that see this, they are into this space. In Lagos State, um, it will be taken up very seriously. And I know in some other parts of the, because yes, I know that when intimate partner violence occurs, our law enforcement agents, they try to want to stay away. Family members don't want the shame. But when issues start to get to a head and there is the possibility, and whenever there is violence, there's a possibility of murder or manslaughter. Okay, so maybe manslaughter, and then in the extreme case, not manslaughter, murder. The person set out to kill. We need to focus on it head on. So we can just go there. I don't have all the answers to these matters. If you have suggestions, what will you advise someone that is in a odd thing? So this one as well. Today I want us to have Jojo, like we say, I want us to talk. What will you advise someone that is in a violent relationship where the husband or the wife is being, because some people it's the wife actually that beats them up at any opportunities. I'll slap you, I'll beat you, you will not leave me today, not today, all those kind of it happens. So it's like I said, male, female. What advice do you have to give such individuals? You can drop it right there in the comments. Let's start to learn from one another. Let's what will the cause? What do you think that they should do? I've given you some of my own suggestions. I think if you are in a violent relationship and you are fearful for your life, get out of that relationship, and at a distance, let's try to see if that relationship can be mended without recourse to law enforcement. But if you are fearful for your life, please involve law enforcement. Involve law enforcement. You are only good alive to yourself, to your kids, if they are kids, and to your loved ones. I said something. So, ab initio, if you see a relationship, if you see violent tricks, violent traits in a relationship, before it is consummated, please uh, uh, go away. Okay, so what if you truly love the person and has done some sacrifices that might not be reversible? See, no, what people call love. I see love as a decision. Love is not necessarily an emotion, right? Love is a decision. When we decide to love someone, then we stay committed to that person no matter what we feel. Yeah, we may feel good. Yes, we may feel mushy mushy towards the person and all that. But the truth test of love is what you do to someone when you don't feel. No, I remember a story somebody said to me many years ago of a mother talking to the child. He said to the child, "You are lucky. I love you so much because I don't like you at all." There's a way that if you have teenagers or you have some troublesome, adolescents or um, young adults, they can turn you crazy. So the child, difficult child, said, I don't like you, but I love you. So we tend to we might confuse love and like, but they are not the same. They are not exactly the same. So that you say you love someone, does the person love you in return? If that person does not love you in return, but rather is harming you, wants to kill you, harm cannot be a language of love. We know we say there are 5 languages of love, affection, time, but beating is not, in my opinion, even in the opinion of the law of the land, it's not a language of love. So whatever sacrifices you may think, that's what I'm saying. It's because abusers tend to put you in a place that you think you are worse off leaving an abusive relationship than staying. So you will be thinking that, so what's my gain? All these sacrifices I've done in years past, will I not be worse off? Where you have a fear for your life, it's better you leave. I'm not saying that relationship cannot be salvaged. So you can still try to salvage that relationship. You can still work with significant others, significant people in your life. So maybe your religious leader, your family members, if the people involved. But sometimes this repair will have to be done at a distance, not where somebody wants to beat you, kill you, and then you stay there. The next beating may just lead to death, right? So seek for assistance, seek for help. That's what I'm saying. Seek for help, seek for counsel, seek for counsel. Talk to people that are in a position of authority, in a position in professional also. They are professional counselors that can help you to help you overcome whatever it is that you guys are facing. But violence is a no-no. It's a no-no. Do we have other suggestions? What do you say, Julian, Pete, Temitope, Ayobami, Michael, what are your own thoughts? Do you agree with me? It's or you are together or you should together, or do you have practical things or practical examples that you like to share with us? Right? Do we have practical examples? Please let's go ahead. Right? Do we have other suggestions? We spent 25 minutes. We have just a few more minutes before we'll have to wrap up this session. I hope we have learned something. This is a problem. It's not going away. It's here, but we can overcome it. And it's something that we should put more into the public space. Discuss intimate partner violence is a big, big problem. It affects the family, affects not just the couple, even the people that are their dependents, children. It affects their growth, their well-being, right? And we say that violence is not just physical, the abuse is not just physical. It could also be sexual, stalking, and then of course it could be psychological. So whatever abuse that it is that you're facing, get the help. Speak out and get the help that you need. All right. If there are no other questions or contributions, um, I think this is a good way, a good place to stop this discussion today. Next week, we'll be talking about why you are always feeling tired and what you can do about it. We're talking about fatigue, why people just have low energy level. Some people just seem to have no energy. What are the things that can cause this, and how can it be that? What can you do? What are the things that you can do to boost your energy levels to achieve all you need to achieve? Right? A big thank you to everyone. Remember, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends and your loved ones. Please make sure you hit the like button of this video. Please like. Okay, what about religious institutions that frown at divorce? Well, yeah, I think divorce should not be taken lightly. Divorce should not be taken lightly. However, uh, you work at it with your religious institutions. But where there is the threat of life, while like I said, the first step is what? Just take some time apart, a separation to see if it's salvageable, right? And if it's not salvageable, then you and your God, we need to. I think, if I may speak from a position of, I think where there is abuse, I think that person has broken his vows. He has broken his marital vows. And when you break your marital vows, which is what I think Jesus, if you're a Christian, was alluding to, that unless someone is so someone when you break your vows, when you are not, I'm not talking about when you have broken your vows, you are looking out to harm your partner. I think you have broken your vows. So that should be taken care of. That should be taken into the discussion when somebody is saying is considering divorce. But divorce I think, is a pretty serious thing. So I'm wearing two hats now. I'm wearing the hat of a public health physician, and I'm also trying to wear the hat because you asked me about religious beliefs. So it's important that we separate. And I live one life. So, but for you, listen to me as a viewer, trying to decide what to do. From a theological perspective, I think anyone that goes out and is harming and beating, being violent, incessantly, physically violent, and towards their partners, I think that person has broken his or her vows. Um, so, what to do about that? Even when somebody breaks the vows and sleep with other people, there can still be reconciliation if certain criteria are met. So that somebody has broken vows or been unfaithful, it doesn't necessarily mean that divorce is the next thing. So that's what I'm saying. Go for professional help. Seek competent professional help with counselors, legal help, of course, religious help if you're a religious person, and sort it out. But what's most important is your life. Your life. Ah, I've been involved in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship while I was always afraid to go home when my partner comes visiting. I hope you broke that relationship. That's what I'm saying. That the signs are always there. Often, no, let me not say always, because but people don't change. If you marry that kind of person, there will be violence in your home. So prevention is better than cure. Huh? Prevention is better than cure. Okay, Julia, what about mental and psychological? Yeah, yeah, I said it that there are four types of abuse: physical, physical abuse, sexual abuse, right? Some people are all calm and good, and it's not helpful also for what you see in pornography. What you see in pornography is that you see people violent. Some people are calm, gentle, and then once it gets to steady, they start to, because they think that rough sex is good sex, but that's violence. You need to reprogram your brain. And then there's stalking, where you just you are walking after the person, check person's phones, the person's workplace. That's and then a psychological abuse, which includes verbal abuse, which includes psychological torture. All those are forms of abuse that should be looked into. Right? When is it normal, and when is it psychological? The abuse is not good. Any abuse. So it's for us to, if you are in a relationship that you are feeling abused, that relationship is not healthy. Abuse of any kind, whether psychological, social, mental, physical, sexual, abuse of any kind should be addressed, should not be swept under the carpet, should not be ignored. Any abuse of any kind. So seek help. And that's what I'm saying. Seek help. Don't keep quiet out of shame. Don't keep quiet out of what will people say. So you can force this because that person, some people, like for instance, that have grown up watching pornography and not knowing that pornography is acting, it's not real, it's false, may think that is normal sexual behavior, to bite, to no. So don't do all that kind of crazy stuff. So speak to that person. And that person, this is not correct. This is harmful to me. This is hurtful to me. And that person, if person loves you, you don't want to hurt the person you love. It's just normal. You don't want to hurt the person you love. Huh? You want once the person said, this is harming me, this is hurting me, you want to try to seek a reapproachment, seek a change. So you discuss it. If that doesn't help, so you start to seek for help. You start to seek for relevant help that can help you without putting yourself, exposing yourself unnecessarily to pressures and all that. But seek for help. That's what we are saying. Yeah, so that's it. I was being psychologically abused because I couldn't find solace in a place that should ordinarily be my place of peace and psychological. And yeah, and that's what the home should be. That's what your intimate partner should be. If you find yourself that you cannot relate to this person, you cannot be like the book puts it, naked and not ashamed. Like, you cannot be vulnerable to so anybody, the signs are there. I often say to people, the signs are there while you are courting, while you are meeting the person. So, and those are the things you should be looking for in a courting. So prevention is better than cure. If you are in a relationship with someone, the person is uh, tries to lord it over you, tries to, uh, like I said, dredges up conversations, what you have said in secret, okay, it holds it as an admonition to use the next time you have a disagreement. Or now and then, what people do that they take pictures, naked pictures, and then they use it, and that's illegal, in many countries, in many places in the world, and then they use it to shame you and put it on social media. That's illegal, right? So some people may say, okay, don't give naked pictures. No, no, don't do that. Don't go that route, right? Especially with someone you're not married to. When love turns to hatred, or when love turns to bitterness, people do crazy stuff. People do awful things. When you think you love someone, or you have affection for someone, and then suddenly that thing is not reciprocated, or it now turns to bitterness. But I think true love never fails. Love never fails. True love never fails. So it doesn't matter what my partner does to me or what doesn't do to me. I think I will always look for the good of my partner. The worst that can happen is okay, goodbye. But I will, in my heart, I will always want to look for the good of my partner. So those are the things you check out for when you are courting. So talk, relate. Don't just get naked and be doing all kinds of funny stuff. No. So relate, have a relationship. And once these red flags are flying, please fly away. Right? Thank you so much for those contributions. They have made our discussions way richer. They made it richer. Thank you. Relationships are no. Let's stay away. This is our session. Thank you so much, everyone that has. Let's remember to share, to like this video, share with someone. The things that we have discussed there may be helpful. May be helpful for someone to know that seek for help. What happens in abusive relationships, is that that person makes you to think you are better off staying in that relationship than exiting. And so that's why people stayed there out of shame, and then they just stayed there until the bitter end. And we don't want that. We don't want that. Or if they now escape, ultimately, that colors their old mindset about all other relationships. They think they deserve to be abused. Nobody deserves to be abused. You deserve to be loved, right? You deserve to be loved. So you love yourself, have a good self-esteem, relate well with and just avoid abusive relationships, right? Thank you so much, everyone. Until I come again next week, like we said, next week we're taking a look at why you are so tired and what you can do about it. Stay healthy, stay inspired. And like area they say, we don't really do area matter, area levels today. We remember I say, life, you know, get to cricket. God bless you.